That it is.
Bada bing. You are listening to Radio818.com. If you're watching us, you are going to 818 Media on Facebook or YouTube or a couple of other places. And this program is called Florida Keys Real Estate Guys. I'm Mark Mills.
And I'm Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate.
That too. So, and we have a pretty cool show for you to set up today. Bugs. This is 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
We have had scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. If you've been listening to my news reports, instead of, Brother Bob is on the other side of the camera back there, Dr. Bob, and he does the national.
Yeah, you're the local guy.
Local yokel.
Local yokel.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, rain, go away.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I had enough.
Yeah, like I said, we were talking off air that I was out on the boat this weekend.
And it was following your butt around.
It was following my butt around. It's like, and one thing about in the Florida Keys, they come up very quickly.
Oh yeah.
I'm really
tropics.
I am radar intensive. Very on top of it. I don't just look out there, but they just pop up like that. And we were in a triangulated situation. It was no matter where you went, there was a storm, and I went the other way, and another storm popped up.
For a moment there, I got a whiff of David Ferry. Talking about, triangulation or cross fire. It's a turkey shoot.
Exactly.
You were in the turkey shoot.
I was in the turkey shoot, and luckily, funny enough, we pulled up to one of my listings and kind of rode out the storm. So it helps to take lots of listings.
Of being a realtor in the Florida Keys. You got to love it. I got to seek shelter. I got a house listed over there.
Exactly. So that worked. But the best thing about, again, Florida is wait half an hour.
Absolutely.
The storms passed.
Yeah.
We went out an hour later and caught 35 fish.
Nice.
Welcome to the Florida Keys.
Most guys who fish, and we got a fisherman.
Absolutely.
Do you fish much anymore or not?
Very little.
Yeah.
He catches bugs.
Well, that and when I was a kid, my dad was a lobster fisherman, and I sort of got burned out.
Yeah, that's true.
All that. So
I could see that.
I rely on my neighbors who actually enjoy fishing.
Right.
And that's the thing. If you got a neighbor who digs fishing, save yourself the $200,000 you're going to drop on a boat and a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Pull the boat around. And forget that.
My neighbor loves me. I'm always giving him fish. It's like what.
There you go. A reason to love Mykael.
There you go.
Yeah.
I give you fish.
I bring you fish. Okay, Jesus.
Yes.
Moving right along. Hey. Okay. All right. Now, whatever Sante is writing on my tablet
Let's
right
see
now,
if you can keep a straight face.
can't show it to the public. So, Oh yeah, good. All right.
Who's your guest?
Well, yeah. Oh, God, we went off the rails so quickly. I knew it would happen.
Okay,
we do have a great program set up for you today. Chris is he's the king-size bug killer here in the Florida Keys. And with this much rain that we've had over 2 weeks' time, they just kind of gurgle up to the surface. There isn't a whole lot that you can do about it, but the Charter Pest Control people are there. If you want to reach out to them, we'll get that information in a few minutes. Plus, we'll share bug stories. Mm-hmm. So he's always got – I wish we could get your photographs out there, too, because guy's got photos of stuff.
Looking at stuff just a while ago. Like, holy
make your skin leave your body. It's just the best. Every Monday when this program happens, we like to give thanks to the people who make it happen.
Yes.
And this is episode 94.
Holy cow.
We're closing in on 100.
Getting almost there.
Yeah. 94 hours of you and I talking about the Florida Keys and real estate.
Is there another form of hell that hasn't been talked about?
Nope.
It's not hell, it's purgatory.
I guess so.
You're just in the waiting. You don't know what scales could tip one day and it could get really hot. The next day, pretty nice.
Yes, exactly. We've had some pretty nices, especially lately.
What are you going to do? And Sunshine Title, the great folks up at Mount Marker 103 on the Bayside, Ginny and crew. No surprise closings, and trust me, too many years in the business, I can tell you, and Mykael as well, he's got about 4 times the time in the business. You don't want to come up to closing so they will take you through it. Their only job is to get you a clean title, get you insured, and get your transaction closed. That's it.
Yep.
So
Get you your money and get you your keys.
Bottom line, brother.
Yeah, that's what matters.
So, yeah, that's what matters indeed. So, also by author Chip Bell, the Jake Sullivan crime series, pretty good stuff, actually. Had the chance to peruse some of it of late. And I understand after discussing it with Mr. Bell that they will be out on audiobook soon.
How cool is that?
From Amazon.
How perfect is that? You're playing a trip to the Keys. You pop the, you start as an audio book. What better way to get you in the mood?
Download it onto your Kindle or whatever, and then go lay on the beach and bake, and I think the ticket to properly using a Kindle, though, is a couple of those drinks that come in the really tall glasses with a lot of umbrellas. They help you with your thumb-eye coordination. So, and that way you can start texting your friends later.
Yes.
I'm reading this book. Really good. Tell your friends. So, the Jake Sullivan crime series, good stuff. Check it out. You can order those through radioa1a.com, through our website. Go to the page and look for the guy under the palm tree with the gun. Click on him. He will not shoot back. And he will take you to the place where you can purchase the books. Heartbreakers Brew House right here.
Our home.
Mile marker 80 on the, I should say 81. Thank you. 81001 Overseas Highway, Oceanside. Wednesday nights. Live sessions.
Good stuff, man.
Really good stuff. And you want to check it out. Usually opens up in the afternoons. And, Steve Vanini, Dave Fader. Yeah. To name a few. Who's coming up this Wednesday, Harry?
Leah Suter is this
Wednesday.
Yeah,
she's super
talented. Local gal.
And then Monday on Labor Day, we have a very special surprise artist who is an alumni of The Voice.
Get out of here.
Oh, yes. How sweet is that?
So
nice.
That will be happening on Labor Day.
Dewey and I have a buddy who's, did her stretch on The Voice, and very talented. Carla Davis, very good. So we're going to have to work her over and get her to, come back down to the Keys, So, and last but not least, of course, Jim LaPointe is your new local lender. Good guy. And I know you hooked him up with some folks.
Yeah, so, especially down here in the Florida Keys, we do a lot of mobile homes here, especially on the water, and that can be a tough product to get financed. And let me tell you, he's been doing a great job for some folks that I sent his way. Very competitive rates, low down payments for getting into a mobile home, which has always been historically very difficult. 40%, 30% down. There, he's been able to bring it down to regular 20%, standard conventional.
Awesome.
So, good stuff. So if you're looking at the cheapest way outside of a condo to get on the water,
that's
mobile home is the way to go. And
sure.
Mobile home in the Florida Keys isn't a bad word. Like, some places you think of it.
Well, there are certain things attached to
mobile certain
life.
Characteristics and characters. But no, down here, it's a great entryway to get on the water. It's the lowest priced, and we've got some phenomenal mobile homes down here.
Yeah, well, you live in a mobile home, but wake up and look out at the ocean every morning. Not a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and go to, once again, radioa1a.com, and Jim's most recent rates. Yeah. I think 3.1 still stands.
It's just amazing.
Yeah,
amazing
not bad.
To get money that cheap.
Not bad. So, but his contact information is right there on the A1A page. Check it out. Definitely good stuff. You know what? And with that, Harry, we're at 8 minutes after the hour. You want to take a break before we
that'll be
go
fine,
to this infamous character here in the gray T-shirt?
Whatever you would
All
like
right,
to
you
do.
know what? You're listening to the Florida Keys Real Estate Guys live on radioa1a.com, and we will be right back. Please like us on Facebook.
Jake Sullivan lies near death in a coma. His best friend Mike drives the hunt for the man who leads a criminal enterprise that could poison paradise with a chemical weapon. There's no safe harbor to be had here. Cuban Crime of Passion is the latest in the Jake Sullivan series from author Chip Bell. Available now, Cuban Crime of Passion. Check out radioa1a.com. Click on the guy under the palm tree with the gun.
Cartel in Key West, corrupt politicians. This is author Sammy Mays. May I recommend the Jake Sullivan series of novels by author Chip Bell?
He's Jake Sullivan and he's on the run. He's working for the president while basking in the sun.
If you enjoy reading, you need to read Chip Bell's latest novel, We Are the People Our Parents Warned Us About. Read and collect all 13 books in the Jake Sullivan series at chipbellauthor.com. The Jake Sullivan series has been awarded Mayor Gonzo Mays 5 Parrots and a Palm Tree for literary excellence.
Topical crimes in tropical climes. Assassins right there on the beach. Like a secret agent.
Hey, Radio A1A listeners, this is Mykael Marinelli, the real estate conch, wishing you tropical vibes.
You've been coming to the Keys for a while, and you rent a nice place, but the rents keep going up. You know it's time to consider buying a home in the Keys. First thing, find out how much home you can afford. Time to talk to Jim. Jim LaPointe is your new Keys local lender. Easy qualifying, lowest rates, FHA, VA, conventional. Time to talk to Jim. Log on to radioa18.com. Click on interest rates. Rates change often, so check them daily. Time to talk to Jim.
And that is Jim LaPointe. Yes. Our local lender. Good guy. Check him out. Definitely. And Chris, anyway, moving right along to the program. This shadow casting profile next to me over here to my left. Chris Sante, former village mayor.
Yeah.
Keys businessman, entrepreneur. A guy that I should own a corn dog wagon with, but don't. We've actually talked
We're
about
working on that.
It's in developmental stages. So rain, go away. All right. We talked about this briefly, but this really, especially living on coral,
Right.
This amount of water has got to bubble up virtually any kind of life form and send it right to the surface. And seemingly ants are finding their way into my house.
Yeah.
So,
That and roaches.
Well,
yeah.
in pest control, when it's dry, the insects come inside looking for water. And when it's wet, they come inside because they want to be dry. So it's a no-win situation.
They're so much like us.
Exactly right. It's a no-win situation, but generally, our recommendation is you keep the perimeter of your house clear of mulch and all the other stuff because people love that mulch look or they blow the leaves up against the house.
Yeah.
Which is great for us because it makes a perfect nest for centipedes, millipedes, ants, roaches,
Bugs.
everything. And then they pay us to spray and tell them to clean it back out. So we happily oblige.
So I guess the key is just maintain that perimeter.
That's pretty much it. People,
they forget about that.
It's not a perfect world, but in a pest control world, we like to see the bushes a foot off the house and nothing between the bushes and the
fire departments are kind of big on that idea.
Well,
too,
again, but people like the hedges right up against the house, and
Sure.
of course they use the bushes as a transfer point. They climb between the dirt and the bushes, and then trees touching the roof. We get a lot of rodents and stuff coming off the top of the trees, coconut trees and whatnot. They go right into your house. They go right through your soffit or your eave. They can climb right up the side of a building.
Right.
We've had condos where they've actually climbed up to the third floor and gone in through the dryer vent.
Amazing.
And ruined condos. I mean, destroyed them because people are second home.
Yeah.
One gentleman left some oats in his condo. He thought to be safe on the third floor and ended up
destroying
the entire unit.
Good idea. I'm sure they tore it apart.
You have nightmares. I mean, if they clear a lot down the street from you, the rodents come over.
Right.
Sure.
It's like anything else. When you disturb the environment, they've got to go somewhere. And now they're coming towards you if you have dog food, cat food outside.
Forget about it.
So another thing we ask people, feed your animal, pick the food up. If they don't eat it right away, pick
Right.
it up. They're not going to die. They're not going to starve to death.
No.
Nothing's going to happen. But what it does, it eliminates a food source.
Sure.
And it's very easy to control pests that way.
There's pet waste is also an element to
Very little. We don't have many dung beetles here, like in Miami. They have little beetles that bury it. Here, they have a hard chance burying it.
Be something else that we'd rather not have moved down here from Miami.
Well,
that's what we call Miami realtors, don't we?
dung beetles. I wouldn't know.
I had one recently that I had to deal
nice.
with. So.
I like that. That's pretty funny.
dung beetle. Good. Okay.
The animal waste. That's the different.
Here's your sign.
That's a different issue.
Yeah.
You know, now with the organic loading on canals and stuff.
Right.
I mean, the sewer system helped a lot. But, you know, Key West has a tremendous problem with even storm drains.
Right.
They don't want the leaves or anything. And what happens is people fertilize their yards, or a lot of
it all runs
manure,
right in,
you know, a lot of dog or cat.
Right.
And when it rains, like this time, it floods and it pushes it all into the canal.
Right. Sure.
Then you have an algae bloom.
Yeah.
And we've seen a little bit of that.
Yeah, I've seen a big algae bloom right now in our canal where we're at. The algae's just
we're not talking
control.
Okeechobee coming down. We're talking
right.
just the amount of runoff in your neighborhood.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
You know, so that loads the canals up.
Well, that's some fairly dangerous stuff too. I mean, I always used to shudder. I lived at 103, and the back of my building opened up into the canals on Cross Key Waterway.
Cross Key, yeah.
And I mean, I used to see kids swimming in those canals all the time, and I was like, bad idea, you know. But I mean, I'm sure at times the water is clean and fine and whatnot. I've also seen, you know, like I went down to sweep off my pontoon boat once and flipped an iguana into the water, and a pair of jaws opened up and closed around the iguana and swam away.
That's good.
So, yeah.
Need more of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of removing iguanas. There's no question about that. But, you know, I mean, I just think that, you know, those jaws clamping around a 5-year-old's leg or something like that.
That's a wise tale.
Really?
I've been here my whole life. There's never been a reported bite of a crocodile biting a human in the life of the
Perhaps
Keys.
somebody didn't want their 5-year-old.
No, it's when we were kids, we used to run off the docks and dive at them and try to grab them. And we never, ever touched one. That's how fast they are and how scared they are. What happens is people start feeding them. They feed them the fish carcasses, and they think it's funny. They like seeing the crocodile. And all of a sudden, your little dog falls in, and it's nature. It's a natural response. Habit of being fed. That's why I tell you, please don't feed them. Freeze your fish heads and take them out next time for when you go to the reef and dump them off.
Chum the water.
Yeah. Because it's just a learned habit. There's some big ones in Venetian shores. You can't get within 20 feet of them. They dive in the water and run away. They're scared.
Oh, you know where I saw one recently was Tavernier Creek.
Yeah.
You know where that little if you go down Tavernier
Creek
Creek
there by the curve.
Well, there's one that has a patio table that's like halfway falling in the water. There's a lot of spalling this property. There's one of them just
lays there. Yeah,
lays there. Seems to be consistent. That seems to be like
we had one in Key Largo with sunbathe behind Mrs. Max. You know, that little area. There's some beaches right there.
Yeah.
He'd come up it was probably a 6-footer, which is kind of small. He would come and just sunbathe for a couple hours and leave.
Yeah. I know. So, does Charter deal with crocodiles and that kind of thing? I mean, do you?
No,
do that?
we're not allowed to.
Yeah.
You have to be special.
If it's a nuisance, the state will come out. But most of the time, if you literally walk towards them, they swim away.
Yeah.
Right? The biggest problem, Venetian Shores gets them in their pools sometimes, and and then they call the crocodile expert to throw them in the canal.
Yeah.
And they're really not a big nuisance.
It's not high science to get rid of them, is it?
Well, the big hype is they said they're going to eat my kid or eat my dog.
Right.
And yes,
apparently I buy into the hype, but you know it's all right.
Well, it's like I said, it's a learned nature. If you were feeding a 12-foot crocodile every day behind your house and your child fell in, yes, I would be concerned. The whole idea is they tell you do not feed them, and the reason is because you want them to maintain that fear of humans.
Sure.
Right.
Well, it's the same with sharks. It's the same with everything. You know,
right.
Nature has no business being around humans, and once they get acclimated to us, then their fear, dissipates, and then they go. Oh, their natural instinct takes over.
Right.
Yeah, they were looking. I spoke to Spencer Slate.
Okay.
About that lady who lost her life in the Bahamas.
Right.
And I've been here my whole life diving, and most of us have never had a problem with a shark. Once in a while, they'll try to eat your fish, and you just give it to them or whatever.
Yeah.
But
you don't really want to argue with them.
Well, there's usually there's a cause to why they did it, as opposed to just a random.
They're looking into it, but Spencer told me there were some fishermen nearby cleaning fish.
Right.
So they don't know whether they get excited and come. And it's a horrible, horrible thing to happen.
Absolutely.
But again, like you said, there's cause and effect.
Right.
If
so, what did Captain Slade have to say about the lady?
He was talking to his Bahama buddies, and they were looking into it because they one of them was telling him that they felt they were cleaning fish nearby, creating excitement among the sharks.
Well, sure.
So they're looking into that, but I was curious because he's been in the water his whole life.
Yeah.
I've been in it quite a bit. And
me too.
Just, like I said, I spearfish, so I have had barracudas and sharks take my fish.
Right.
But I've never had that type of aggressiveness towards me. So, of course, you're curious, I understand the sharks that the black tips come down and people get bit on a sandbar because you stir the mud up and they come in looking for something. They'll bite your foot or something. So I understand all these little nibbles we get up and down the coast. You sort of understand that. But to actually have an attack, there has to be a cause because you don't have anything on you that they're interested in.
Right.
So it was quite concerning, of course. You always want to find out what the cause was.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So they're still looking into that event.
Yeah. That's over Bahamas. So I don't know how fast that information gets out. But
like I say, I'm certain that they will find there was something that instigated that attack. Other than just her.
It was a number of years back. I remember, and this is done, I think, at Bud and Mary's. That there was some fish cleaning going on, on the dock, and a gal liquored up, getting tossed into the water by her boyfriend or whatever, and she got nipped. You know, well, and it was a barracuda, first of all,
right?
Because the bite mark was only about the width of my phone. So it wasn't a shark. I mean, a shark that small wouldn't have bothered. You know, so. But I mean, it's a really stupid thing to do,
right?
It's the same thing. A lot of the Marines don't do that anymore. They take all their carcasses and take them back out the next day or that evening. Yeah. Because they're finding out they don't want them in the marina.
It's a liability.
Absolutely.
And it makes great chum. I mean, during stone crab season, that's what I put in my traps.
Sure.
The rest of my catch.
I use iguanas.
There you go. I'm sure
we have a sale on iguanas.
Live one.
Free.
Tastes like chicken.
Yeah, you bet. Properly prepared.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, barbecue sauce and iguana. Eating barbecued iguana.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Walla Voodoo.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Wish I was in Tijuana.
Well, I mean, if it does taste like chicken, I'm game. I'll try it.
Tastes like chicken. I'm eating chicken. That's my feeling.
Whenever you think tastes like chicken, why not just eat chicken? This tastes like chicken. Okay,
why,
give me some
why
chicken.
Make it difficult on yourself? That's it. So, reptiles and whatnot and that kind of thing, really, there isn't that much to be afraid of. Use your head. You're okay.
There's nothing down here, really. I mean, when you look at all these reports, I had a guy, iguana bit him. Well, it turns out he was feeding it and took a big old bite out of his finger.
There's a DS move. I've heard of one.
I'm just saying.
There's a reason.
Slate has that thing where he goes and feeds the fish.
Creature feature.
And somebody always wants to copy him when he's not there. And then you hear about the guy who got his hand mauled or, something happened.
Yeah. This is an expert, gazillion-year diver who's...
You don't feed the eels because it's cool. You look at him and say, that's a really nice eel, and keep swimming.
Yeah.
You don't mess with them. And people, it just cracks me up because, the same thing happens in pest control. And it's kind of funny. The human nature is don't do anything till the last second. And then it also is, if one is good, two's better.
Right.
So we have chemical you put on for pests, different ones. We use a lot of baits because we don't want to. I've gotten away from the hardcore chemicals because of the fact that it has no place to go except for in the water.
Right.
So we use a lot of baits. But the thing is, even the chemicals, sometimes you do have to use them. It says on there like 1 teaspoon per gallon.
Right.
So everybody goes, 2 is better. Well, the chemical company would say that because they'd want us to use more chemical if 2 is better.
Right.
Sure. It actually works worse because it becomes too strong and the insects avoid it.
Right.
But it just cracks me up because I have people that call me. I have ants. I go there and they don't have ants. They have 1 billion ants. Right. And I go, well, how long have you had ants? The whole year. I just decided to call now.
Yeah, really.
Will one spray take care of it? I go, yeah. I go, no, it's going to be kind of a long process here. Right. And then they call up, a couple days later and say, I still see an ant. I go, really? I go. It's just the nature of the beast. It's just no matter what you do. I don't care if it's roaches. I don't care what you spray. Somebody will have a roach infestation. You treat it. They call you back next day. I still see a roach. I go. Well, you're going to see them for like 30 days.
Yeah.
The chemical has to work, and you had an infestation, which means they're in the walls or everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a long, slow process, but everybody wants that instant gratification. They want to spray it and pay nothing.
Doesn't
and
work
then
that way.
Cure everything.
Right.
So it's like anything else. You just got to inform the public of what to expect and how the treatments go. But all the stuff nowadays is very effective. It's just slow. It's slow turn because the old days we had the good stuff like DDT.
Right.
Except it killed everything in the environment. So
well, and malformed a couple of kids. And a few other things. So yeah. Whoops.
Well, we now we've switched over to baiting. Is real important. That's a big strong thing. Minimal spraying.
Well, and they're the type of little critters that even roaches do this. From what I understand, is that they'll take it back to where everybody lives and share it.
Well, on roaches, it gets onto their legs and sticks to their legs.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when they walk around, it becomes a crystal, and it actually cuts their joints and dries them out. And then, like on rats, you use
nice.
well,
Jeez.
you use warfarin, warfarin-based poisons on rats, so they eat it.
Blood thinner.
Right, and then the rat bait boxes outside have to be sealed so that you don't get squirrels or dogs or cats or anything eating it. So they have to actually go into a hole, eat the poison, and then come back out.
Right.
And the big thing is you worry about secondary poisoning. Because you can have a rat that's sick and stumbles out, and then a bird would pick it up, a bird of prey.
Right.
So there's limits on that also.
Sure.
Trying to keep that secondary poisoning from happening.
Right.
That makes sense. You don't think about that.
Yeah. Well, again, the pest control industry has improved itself over the years. So every time there's an incident, you learn from it, and then you change the poisons, you change whatever. So we have a lot of different variations now of how to poison animals, the rats. Which is the big thing. And then we have live traps for the possums and raccoons.
Do we have a raccoon issue down here?
Well,
I understand when they get in here, when they get in their place, it's pretty
There's
difficult.
raccoons and possums all over the place. And, of course, the Winn-Dixie and Tavernier has a big population.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But they're more or less, they sort of stabilize
Why I
themselves.
shop at Publix.
Yeah, unfortunately. Publix,
Also, why you don't sell advertising.
all the shopping centers have them.
I know. It's the same
pretty
thing.
funny, though.
It's the same as restaurants, you know.
Yeah. Well, they come to the dumps and stuff. So, of course, you train the owner of the property, make sure the lids are closed, make sure you don't, if you're going to throw out a large amount of
deterrence.
It's like anything, crimes of opportunity.
Exactly.
You know?
So what happens is we had an incident in Key Largo. One of the restaurants got overrun by raccoons. They had a big food supply source, so the raccoons just kept breeding and eating.
Right.
And once we had the dumpster come, we changed the dumpster out to a different type of locking type.
Right.
It eliminated the food supply.
Right.
The population adjusted itself again.
Yeah. I remember having a conversation with a recently retired FWC officer who lived over by the park by John Pennycamp, and he said that he would sit on his porch and occasionally have a beer in the evening, and as the sun set, it would the raccoons would hit the wall, the fence surrounding the park, and be coming over it like zombies from World War Z.
Right.
It was just Jesus, it was like in waves.
I'll tell you the funniest thing about raccoons. They're smart.
Oh, yeah.
I would see them at Pennycamp. I'd see them on more than one occasion. The guy would be fishing there with his bait bucket. So a raccoon would walk up on one side, and the guy would start looking at him, and the raccoon would come to us and steal his bait bucket and run off. And we used to laugh like mad. We would tell the guy, "You're going to lose your bait." No, I'm watching it.
Yeah, it was really.
It was
paying
like a
attention.
tag team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they work in teams.
Yeah, they're pretty funny. But
there you go.
so far as bugs in general, down here it's ants and roaches are the big thing, and rodents.
Right.
And then occasionally you get a lot of iguana calls, and we trap those or shoot them depending on the situation. And
simplicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
get in the box, or I'm going to plug you in the head.
What happens is it's kind of funny. We run through cycles.
Right.
You'll notice a lot of ant calls for like 30, 45 days.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you'll switch over to roach calls. Then you'll switch over to rodent calls. And it's kind of funny. It's like whatever's coming in next.
Aggressive, right? Chain, is that it?
And then the bad news is after a storm, like after Irma, animals and plants go into what they call like a damage mode.
Right.
Okay.
So they go into overbreeding. That's why you see a lot of plants sprout after a hurricane. You see them growing like mad.
Oh, yeah, crazy.
Same thing's happened to rodents.
Okay, interesting.
Any insect, rodents, anything. They go into an overdrive.
Right.
And they start producing more. So after a storm, you actually end up with a surge of pest. And it's partially because of the damage, but also because it's a form of protection. They feel there was a storm or low pressure. It triggers them to breed more.
Interesting.
When
now, you just mentioned Irma. And I want to use that to take us in a new direction here. We were talking before the show started that you just finished your Irma to-do list.
Right.
2 years.
No.
2 years, and I'm still waiting for permits.
Is that right?
I have a seawall fell in.
Right.
So I'm still waiting to get my seawall permit. And it's an existing seawall, but DEP...
Evidently, there
bless
is
them. I love you, DEP.
No,
but I
suck for a former elected official, is there?
There's nothing.
My God.
It's the Army Corps.
Right.
Love you guys too.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's no matter what paperwork you send in, somebody there says you forgot to cross this T or dot this I.
Okay.
And it's not like send it back. It's another month.
Start it over. So, look,
so
we're
so close now.
All right, we're 30 minutes after the hour. We're going to take another break. You are watching and listening to Radio A1A.com and the A1A Media and the Florida Keys Real Estate Guys. Chris Sante is our guest, and we'll be right back. Please like us on Facebook.
Surprise! Great for a birthday, anniversary party, but a real estate transaction? That is not what you want. You don't want surprises when it comes to closing a real estate deal. The way to a smooth closing with no surprises is Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call Ginny or Pam or even Irene. Hey, these three gals will take care of you. Close your transaction smoothly with no surprises. Real estate closings, 1031 exchange, escrow, all your needs are taken care of there with no surprises. It's Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call 305-451-0032 or just Google up Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys.
Florida Keys is a chain of islands known for its crystal blue waters, famous for sports fishing, world-class diving, and its laid-back atmosphere. Nestled between the Everglades National Park and the National Marine Sanctuary, the Keys are home to a precious and rare ecosystem found nowhere else. Here you will also find world-class dining featuring fresh-from-the-dock seafood, as well as other chef-prepared culinary favorites. The Florida Keys has the feel of a quaint seaside village with a laid-back vibe, taking you worlds away from everyday cares. Stunning coastal-inspired homes line the shores of the islands, offering spectacular sunset views. Whether you start your day taking in the sunrise on your oceanfront veranda or heading out on the water for an adventure, the Keys has something to offer everyone. American Caribbean Real Estate, your Christie's International Real Estate Brokerage, knows that our island lifestyle is just as important as the home, and we are prepared to match you to the right property to fit your lifestyle. As the local Christie's International Real Estate affiliate, we have the powerful backing of the network, including 1,300 offices worldwide, and the only real estate company owned by a premier auction house. This, added to our local market expertise, makes American Caribbean Real Estate the right agency to assist you in finding your piece of paradise in the Florida Keys.
Welcome back to the program. We're rocking our way back into the third segment. Mark Mills here.
And Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate.
Florida Keys Real Estate guys, joined by Chris Sante, former village mayor and
Big Kahuna.
You've been talking to Pam again, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah, it's just no holds barred here, man. It's just, dignity goes out the back door.
I see the FCC calling.
No, that's the best part of here. We can.
He loves that.
7 dirty words, no problem.
Forget about it. He'll run through them backwards for you. He'll spell them for you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Never mind. Moving right along, we try and maintain a level of dignity here, but we fail miserably at it. So
your guests bring it way down.
Really, just right.
It's funny. I saw actually in researching. I actually saw a review of our show one time, and it said, "Great information presented in a crude manner." I loved it.
Great information presented.
Great Keys information presented in a
well, that's
crude
kind of
manner.
the Keys, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
Great place to.
There we go. I mean, gosh, thank you.
With nature in a crude manner.
I took it as a compliment.
That was from Saks.
Yeah, right. There you go. Moving right along. Actually, we are just about 2 years. From Irma. It was September 10th.
Scary, man.
2017. And Chris had mentioned before the show that he was just getting done with his last element of cleanup from Irma. So, and specifically, can you discuss what it was or what it is?
Yeah, after Irma, of course, you prioritize all your damages. And you start working, obviously starting with the roofs and working your way down.
Right.
And because we have some rental property, we had a list, and the last item was actually a lot cleanup where there had been a lot of debris and stuff. And it was sitting for 2 years, so I had to go in there and haul it out by hand, or me and some help.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing left to do. But it's just, people think it's after a storm, of course, everybody's in that residential mode. You got to get back to your house. But business-wise,
sure.
We were out of phones for 3 months. We ended up having to jury rig a system.
Right.
It doesn't matter. We had Comcast, AT&T, and it doesn't matter. They were also overwhelmed.
Right.
And even though you're a business, it didn't seem to matter.
You don't get priority.
Well, the trunk lines were down, so of course they're repairing them priority also.
Right.
Some of us were without power for a long time, and I had a couple properties that had only half the power. One line had broken, so it's very low priority to repair that second leg, so you get 220. But of course, you're in a house with no air conditioning and no stove,
no AC, no stove, no dryer,
anything that takes double,
220. Right. So there's a lot of things like that that people don't realize. One of the things I wanted to mention was as a business person, not only are you trying to get your house, your own personal property up and running, you've got to plan for your employees and everything.
Sure.
Do they have a place to come back? Will they come back? That's what happened after Irma. A lot of the resorts, they got destroyed.
Yeah.
Those people lost their jobs and they left town.
Right.
Island Christian closed down. They lost so many students.
Right.
70.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm just saying, it's people just don't realize the impact. It's not the week after the storm. It's the years after the storm.
I mean, look at Homestead. We just the other day, was it 27 years since Andrew?
Oh, yeah.
Homestead's still trying to recover.
Yeah. I mean, there is construction that is taking place there now.
Yeah.
That is, where lands have finally been freed up to build on again.
Yeah.
Well, there's good and bad. I mean, we lost Seabreeze and San Pedro.
Yeah.
And that was really a shame because that was a lot of our workforce housing.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the flip side, now they're going to be putting in a brand new sewer system, brand new park models.
Right.
And, they're going to put some mobile homes and park models and whatnot and redo the entire section.
Yeah.
It's going to be more money, but it's up to better codes. There's all those things that, you hate to see that cheap housing leave. On the other hand, what comes back is going to be a lot safer, a lot.
Well, but I mean, in my opinion, one of the best restaurants in the Keys got bulldozed by Irma. The Encore, and simply put, he wasn't able to staff it because everybody split.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be gone 3 months at least.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that even state, or local government tried really hard to, make it easier for people to get permits, that type of thing.
Well, there's a whole litany of things. Right after the storm, there was that bottleneck in Florida City trying to get back in.
Right.
You need your re-entry sticker.
Right.
People
critical.
Pick those up
if
now.
You don't have, clearly said, if you don't have a re-entry sticker on your car, go get one now.
Yep. And what happened is there was things they learned from Irma. First, people leaving the Keys with their boat trailer hasn't towed a boat in 4 years.
Right.
Axles breaking, springs breaking, tires breaking. So that's something to do right now is check your trailer out if you're going to remove your boat from the Keys. If not, plan on filling it up with water and leave it in your yard.
It's funny because, basically every year we do, the middle of May, we start, talking about prepping for storms, prepping for the season, blah, blah, blah. And then you know what? And people cruise right over June, July, August, and you get that first blip on the radar out there.
Yeah.
You pull up my NHC, and you go, oh, shoot, there's a red X there. Well, you click on that, and suddenly you see there's an honest-to-God storm out there. I mean, like right now, Dorian, most people are saying, okay, well, it's going to go over the DR, it's going to go over, Haiti and whatnot, so no big deal.
Yeah. Well, nobody panics till it hits the Bahamas or Cuba.
Right.
Then it's like close enough to start worrying. I mean, really, that's everybody tells me. I go, you got to be ready.
Well, and my point is exactly that you know what, when you see one out there, get ready.
Yeah.
Just do it. Jesus Christ, come on.
The big thing is they always talk about evacuation.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, we have a lot of second homes here. So one of the things we ran into the village is people were coming down out of Miami, grabbing their boat and trying to run back.
Right.
And then, of course, having all the RVs, boats, whatever, all these trailers are blowing out and falling apart. So, if you're seriously thinking about saving your boat, check your trailer out now.
Yeah.
Or your RV,
really
make sure you got good tires and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then we learned a lot from Irma.
Yeah.
The fact that, me with property, I want to get back in and secure it and make sure it's okay.
Sure.
So what happens is they go, for example, Key Largo is blocked. You can't get through it. Well, everything below that's okay. So, of course, everybody who lives from Islamorada South wants to get back to their property. They don't care about Key Largo being blocked. Open it up for us. We want to get by.
Right.
And that's what they sort of learned. So now after Irma, they had a lot of meetings with all the cities, and they're coming up with a plan, so to speak, that's why they got the reentry stickers, because if the lower keys are fine or the middle keys are fine, go right through.
Sure.
Open it up and just blaze right through.
Yeah.
And then and the reason they're trying to keep people out, it's not being mean. What it is they're concerned for the safety. You got power lines that are down still. You have roads that are blocked. So they're trying to clear it up as fast as possible. And I think after Irma, they did a pretty good job. I mean, but every storm, you still learn what else you can do.
Oh, yeah.
And they've really come a long way. And Islamorada, all the cities now, they have a news site you can sign up for.
Right.
And they text your phone in, call you, leave you a little or email you, leave you messages as status updates on everything that's going on. So if you're out of the area, you can stay in tune the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really they made a lot of improvements. County has one, county-wise. Islamorada has one, and I'm pretty sure Marathon has one. I don't know. I'm sure Key West. They probably all have them now.
Right.
Cool. But it's just a little thing on your phone. It beeps you and says, "Hey, this is coming. That's coming. High winds." It's all year round.
Right.
If you're going to get a storm come up, it will tell you.
Yeah, that works out.
Again, we want people to protect their property. The same token, we don't want to risk their lives over tangible stuff that you can replace.
We have our volunteer squad now too.
That too,
is pretty effective. And the county put together. I mean, if you have skills, construction, mechanics, you name it.
Yeah.
I mean, medical, anything. Guys who talk are pretty much a dime a dozen.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I'm thinking got 100 marks.
Yeah, thousands.
Yeah,
thousands.
Well, but like you said, if theoretically if a storm were to hit Key Largo and something bad, and they have these volunteers, everybody, and you can open that road up right away.
Yeah.
Then, like I said, all the people in Lower Keys will be happy to go down there and start taking care of their own stuff.
Right.
And it takes the pressure off of Florida City. All these people, because when Irma came, you had all these people that ran out of gas and ran out of money and ran out of motel rooms leaving.
Yeah.
And then when it said it was okay to come back, Upper Keys weren't damaged as much. So the people in the Upper Keys wanted to come back and get to their own places.
Right.
Well, then, and the people in Key West were fine.
Right.
But that in between, you had all these people that were
there was
stuck.
a zone in there that was pretty screwed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the reason they had that big meeting afterwards to try to work this out, where they can open up certain areas right away and let the people come back.
Right.
So, like I said, I was impressed. I was involved a little bit with that before I got out of the council, and they made a lot of progress on that.
Been a good learning curve here, isn't there?
It's if you look back at like the Hurricane of '35, there was no technology.
Yeah.
I met Irvin Iser. He was around, and I spoke to him, and we were at one of the speeches, and I go, "Why did you? He had to crawl across the broken bridges and all that." I go, "Why was it so important to get back your property?" And he goes, "I don't know why." But it's human nature. You want to protect whatever you have.
Sure.
Right.
Did you ever see George Carlin, My Stuff?
Oh yeah, of course.
That's the same principle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care
Great
if it's a mobile home or RV
Doesn't make
or
any
a
difference.
mansion.
Yeah.
You want to get to your stuff and protect it or take care of it.
Right.
So that's why I tell people, take your valuables, make sure insurance premiums paid up, and don't worry about it. It can all be replaced.
Pretty
Absolutely.
much.
It's we've had calls. One of the storms, there was a gentleman. It was Seabreeze Trailer Park. He was in an RV right by the water.
Right.
And he called up and said, water's coming in. I'm flooding. And we said, we were at the EOC Center, and I said, take a magic marker and write your name on your arms and legs. And we can find your body. We can identify you. I said, because we can't go out and save you. Everything's grounded.
Yeah.
Anyway, they took me off the phones after that. They said I wasn't allowed to help with the emergency calls. But the reality of it is, I mean, there's nothing out there worth your life.
Distress hotline.
Yeah. I work the suicide hotline now.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
What caliber are you using?
Yeah. Jesus. Oh, boy. Okay. Well,
on that note.
Yeah, moving right along. I think, with the EOC down here, I mean, I always like to give them a tip of the cap because they do a great job really getting information out. During Irma, I had a pretty good link with Cammie Clark.
Yeah.
And, we got information out, and I sent it to Harry. Harry put it up on the server, and,
That's the
those
big
that
thing.
were listening to A1A never had an interrupted source of information. We were always on the air throughout all of Irma. So there are other radio stations who claim they did that.
Yeah, exactly, but we did.
Yeah, we did.
Well, nowadays with electronic media, I don't care where you are, you can get information immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
So everybody is attuned to A1A or wherever you can get that. The Monroe County has Twitter and Facebook.
Right.
They have the emergency thing. You go right on. It tells you where are the first aids at, where's the water at.
Right.
Everything's right on there nowadays.
Yeah.
So you can address your neighborhood very quickly.
Well, you got to put your oomph into it.
Right.
Get involved.
That's the key.
That's that volunteer thing you mentioned. That actually, a lot of people signed up for that, and I hope they show up and work.
Yeah, I do too.
Because it's tremendous help. It's little things. It's a matter of somebody standing at a street corner with a cone saying you can't go down the street.
Right.
Because somebody will drive around the cone. You have to physically have somebody tell them no.
Stand there and say no.
Right.
Stop.
Because they will drive around the cone and
Yes,
drive right
Yeah.
to the power line or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they want to get back there that bad.
Yeah.
So there's little. There's little things like that.
Worse yet, I remember in the earthquakes in '92 or '94 in Los Angeles. That was rubbernecking.
Yeah.
People just going out looking around at the damage.
We had that after Irma.
Come
Oh,
on.
sure.
Oh yeah.
We
Absolutely.
had a guy come from the radio station. He was up in Key Largo, and he ran into me, and he goes, "I want to take some pictures." I said, "We'll take pictures here." A bunch of trees down. He goes, "No, I want something wrecked. So we sent him down to Seabreeze.
Yeah.
Because they don't want anything that says it's not too bad. They want the worst.
Exactly.
And-
If it
and
bleeds,
that's-
it leads.
Well, that was one of the arguments we had. The council was, the trailer park got wiped out, but the rest of the village was pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Tree damage, but it wasn't like Big Pine or down there. So unfortunately, the news media always had a tendency to.
Of course, they set
want
up
sensationalism.
I ran into Jackie
Not my
Nesprawl
fault. Oh, yeah.
of 4, and I forget what the other gentleman's name, and they were in front of Seabreeze, and I stopped and said hello, and they actually had me on.
Yeah.
And one of the things I made to mention, say, this is pretty bad, but we were very fortunate, and I hope you go and check out some of the other areas that we mustered fine.
Yeah.
And-
Public relations, folks.
No, but he's right. It's frustrating when you're on the council. I was doing interviews on the radio and on shows saying everything's good. Yes, we have some damage, but the trailer park is bad, but the houses are still the whole Bayside did great.
Right.
We flew over everything, and like I said, the Bayside came out really good.
I mean, what were the two most damaged things here in the Upper Keys? You had that one, and then you had the Pancake townhouse at mile marker 74.
But that was actually on the Bayside. They found
but those were it.
Yeah.
Those were it as far as really did.
Yeah.
But yet the perception was, oh my God, Islamorada and
we had
Key
some of
Largo.
the-
Islamorada did take a pretty good whacking, like at the Islander and
the
Chica.
Oceanside took a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, we were laughing down lower Matacumbi. We were doing one of the inspections, and all the hurricane windows were perfectly great shape, laying in the road. The house was blown away, but the windows were perfect.
The windows
were
good.
The flood. It was just an older house, and it couldn't take the load, but the windows worked perfectly.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny, but it still comes down to, because it's news and they want sensationalism.
Sure.
They're not the Chamber of Commerce. They don't come down and say, "Hey, look, everything's great. We got a few damaged properties. Come on down. We want to see you." You got to work against that negativeness, which is they only show every storm I've ever been in here. My relatives from up north call me, my wife's side. They go, "Oh, I hear the Keys is wiped out." Mm-hmm. Every storm,
of course,
were wiped out.
And
I go, "I don't know where." I said, "I got power. I got water. Everything's fine."
Hey, steaks on the grill, got a cold beer.
That's it.
So I go through that with my family every year too.
Yeah,
part of the deal.
That's what's aggravating when you're on this side of the. We work with the public, and we want, of course, we're a tourism-based economy.
Yeah.
Right.
So we want the tourists to understand, don't cancel all your vacation rental.
Yeah,
Don't cancel your hotel stays.
Right.
Yes, some of them did get damaged. Call your hotel. The rest of them are still open.
Make a phone call. Find out for sure. So, Chris Sante, man, always a pleasure to have you
man.
on the
Thank you for
program.
coming in.
Really
Enjoy it.
appreciate it.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Be good. We'll be prepared. That's the idea.
This is with everything.
We are going to take another break and come back. Michael's got a house in
great
Venetian
property.
Shores you want to know about. Stay with us.
Hello, this is Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate with your Real Estate Conk featured property. Today, spotlighting 125 Venetian Drive in Islamorada. Here, you can enjoy the phenomenal Islamorada lifestyle in this just-built waterfront home. Everything's new. 3 bedrooms upstairs and a separate guest suite downstairs. Exceptional features include stunning granite kitchen, veranda, sumptuous master bath, and a homeowner's park with its rare sandy beach. This is your bucket list opportunity. For more information on this home and other power buys, contact me at 305-439-7730 and visit my award-winning Florida Keys lifestyle blog at therealestateconk.com.
Surprise! Great for a birthday, anniversary party, but a real estate transaction? That is not what you want. You don't want surprises when it comes to closing a real estate deal. The way to a smooth closing with no surprises is Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call Ginny or Pam or even Irene. Hey, these 3 gals will take care of you, close your transaction smoothly with no surprises. Real estate closings, 1031 exchange, escrow, all your needs are taken care of there with no surprises. It's Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call 305-451-0032 or just Google up Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys.
You've been coming to the Keys for a while, and you rent a nice place, but the rents keep going up. You know it's time to consider buying a home in the Keys. First thing, find out how much home you can afford. Time to talk to Jim. Jim LaPointe is your new Keys local lender. Easy qualifying, lowest rates, FHA, VA, conventional. Time to talk to Jim. Log on to radioa18.com. Click on interest rates. Rates change often, so check them daily. Time to talk to Jim.
I want to run right out and buy a diamond ring and get married.
Exactly.
I did.
You did. And by the way, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You joined the ranks of us.
I found a good one and she's amazing.
Yes, she is.
I'm very happy. You know,
your hypnotism class worked off really well.
Mykael has an incredible property.
Yes, I do. We've talked about it a couple times on this property, about this property on the show. But let me tell you, I think it's one of the best values that we have down here. It is in a community called White Marlin Beach, which is in the lower end of Lower Matacumbe part of Islamorada. And what's nice about this area is it has its own sandy beach in the optional homeowners park. So you can go out there. We don't have a lot of sandy beach down here, and this is a rare one. So you can go enjoy. There's barbecue facilities, lots of fun that you have there. The house was built by the owners for themselves, just recently completed. And unfortunately, as John Lennon says, life is what happens when you're making other plans.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're no longer going to be living down here. So the house has never been lived in. Wow. Just got its CO, and here's the best part. It's above flood. And the reason that's important is they have a downstairs guest suite, and it's legal. And if you wanted information, we've talked about that on the show. A lot of times downstairs living areas are not legal, but since this is above flood, it is. And it's a whole encapsulated suite downstairs. Nice. Bedroom, kitchenette, not a kitchen, but kitchenette, right. French doors out to the patio, right. Just absolutely gorgeous. There's 70 feet on the water, so you can pull up with your boat. Actually pulled up there a couple days ago as well, dodging a storm, and it ended up having a showing. So, great dockage that's there, and then upstairs is absolutely gorgeous. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths upstairs, state-of-the-art kitchen, nice open floor plan, a huge veranda. So it's just an awesome place to hang out. Yeah. And we have probably the best deal on the market. We're priced at $1,148,000, which, if you know that area of Lower Matacumbe, for a new house, never been lived in,
that's an adjustment
70 feet on the water. Yeah, we adjusted the price downward, which is great for buyers, instead of upward. Yeah. But we adjusted it recently, and we've been getting a lot of showings on it, and just getting a lot of great attention. Mm-hmm. But it's one of the best values that's out there. So if you're thinking of using a secondary residence, if you're thinking of it as a permanent residence, this is one of those houses that you could be your full-time house.
Much
or
to do.
If you like to make some money as an investment property when you're not using it, this thing will rent every day of the year.
Yeah,
just gorgeous property. It's a 30-day minimum rental in that area, but you could find folks that would rent that like that if you wanted to. Mm-hmm.
No problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's important. Like I said, we're priced really, really well at $1,148,000. But here's something you need to realize, and we've talked about this many, many times on the show.
Please.
You got to work with local realtors, folks. We've had some showings. We've had some offers that just were not educated offers. And when you're making an offer and it's not based on what the market is, you can be shooting yourself in the foot as a buyer.
Oh, completely.
Because you've taken your leverage away. And this recently happened. We had a realtor, not from the area, didn't know the area, gave us an offer basically on what his buyers thought the property would be worth. Now, I respect that, but when I came back with comparables to show that we're practically giving the property away,
right.
It was like, oh, well, we didn't know that that's what the market was. So then why are you investing your time? I understand your buddy, your friend, your cousin is a realtor, and you'd like for them to make a commission. I respect that, but work with the local folks. Hey, I'd be happy to have given that guy a referral, and what happens is they already shot themselves in the foot. The seller did not give a great enthusiastic counter.
No.
I was surprised they even gave one at all.
Yeah, and chances are pretty good you've just chased the seller off the dock.
Exactly. It's really important. This is not another thing. We have an agent in our office. We had a similar situation.
Right.
Is sometimes be careful of what you read. We had a buyer who read something in the Wall Street Journal that said, this, that, and the other thing, the economy. The Keys might not be a great place to invest your money. Well, the Wall Street Journal goes to a certain clientele that are $3 million, maybe an overbuyer. And you know what? In the $3 million range right now, we have a glut of properties. But her property was priced at $999 on the water. There's a scarcity of that.
Yeah.
So, a buyer reading something in the Wall Street Journal thinking it's a buyer's market, making an offer on something that there's scarcity of, guess what, folks? You're not going to get that type of
not gonna work.
attention. And again, once again, represented by an out-of-the-area realtor who didn't know the market. And our colleague knows this market inside and out.
Yeah.
Was able to
very bright lady.
Was able to quote chapter and verse of all the sales. So, when a good agent is pricing their properties, they're going to be able to document and back up why it's priced at that range.
It's always I've found it remarkable that in the Keys we are a fairly laid-back group, but that doesn't mean that we just sit around and vomit rum. Okay, we are educated, and we try and pay attention to what the hell's going on around us.
Sure.
Now, if you went into New York City, and made an offer, lowballed somebody on a property that was, in this kind of market situation, they would have you killed.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Vinny would come out with the bats.
Vinny, Bruce, whoever, I mean, you're going to get dead doing stuff like that. So please,
know your market.
Know your market. It's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
Kind of the way to go.
Exactly. So when you see a good opportunity out there, capitalize on it because it might not be there tomorrow.
Capitalize on it, but pay attention for Christ's sake. This is you're not dealing with a bunch of bumpkins down here. And we really kind of resent it when people come down and do treat us like bumpkins.
For sure.
So,
for sure. Absolutely.
Get over yourself.
There used to be a clothing store here called Sims.
I remember
and they
Sims.
had the greatest tagline, and something I live by is an educated consumer is our best customer.
Absolutely.
And I love that line, and it's so true, especially down here about properties here in the Florida Keys.
Years and years and years ago, I used to lecture on broadcasting and news and that type of thing, and certainly in the local schools as well.
Right.
And I would start every speech out with the expression "knowledge is power," and then go around the room and ask the kids or the students, what does that mean to you?
Right.
Because look, if you're negotiating for a home, you find the place you want, your knowledge of the market and trying to buy that house is going to far outweigh anything else.
You know it.
You work with a local realtor, you're working with somebody who knows what the hell is going on.
Right. And that's the key. If you really want that property, or if you really want to get your property sold, that's the key.
Absolutely.
Is knowing what the market's going to say. And no amount of beautiful brochure is going to make any difference on that, if you're not priced to the market or if you're making offers that aren't suitable to what the property's worth.
Well, and the short version of that is, it's great that you've achieved the success in your life and you can possibly afford a home in the Keys. You're not alone.
Right, that's for sure.
You're not the only guy who can do it, or gal, for that matter. So, you know what? Again, knowledge is power.
We'll leave you with that.
And we will leave you with that. As a matter of fact, that concludes another. I think Dewey's going to lose a lung there. That'll wrap up another edition of Florida Keys Real Estate Guys. I'm Mark Mill.
And I'm Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate, wishing you tropical.
If I had my way, I'd set sail right away. Destination, southern shores. Throw my cares upon a shelf. Head on off for somewhere else where the weather's always warm.